Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajachanaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Jai Kunja Bihari Yashodanandana Brajachanaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yashodanandana Brajachanaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Jai Kunja Bihari Yashodanandana Brajachanaranjana Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yogadharma Srila Harinam Sankirtan की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय समवेत गौर भक्तवृंद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttamaśloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter number 30, Activities of Prachetas, text number 6. Kashishnuna Kanakavarna Vibhushanena Brajat Kapolavadano Vilasat Kirita Ashtayudair Anucharer Munibis Surendrer Asevito Garudakinnaragita Kirti Kashishnuna Kanakavarna Vibhushanena Brajat Kapolavadano Vilasat Kirita Ashtayudair Anucharer Munibis Surendrer Asevito Garudakinnaragita Kirti Kashishnuna Kanakavarna Vibhushanena Brajat Kapolavadano Vilasat Kirita Ashtayudair Anucharer Munibis Surendrer Asevito Garudakinnaragita Kirti. Mataji's Word to word meaning, translation, and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki. Kashishnuna, shining. Kanaka, gold. Varna, colored. Vibhushanena, with ornaments. Brajat, shining. Kapola, forehead. Vadana, his face. Vilasat, dazzling. Kirita, his helmet. Ashta, 8. Ayudai, with weapons. Anucharai, by followers. Munibhi, by great sages. Sura Indrai, by demigods. Asevita, served. Garuda, by Garuda. Kinnara, the inhabitant of the Kinnara planet. Gita, sung. Kirti, his glories. Translation: the Lord's face was very beautiful, and his head was decorated with shining helmet and golden ornaments. The helmet was dazzling and was very beautifully situated on his head. The Lord had 8 arms, which each held a particular weapon. The Lord was surrounded by demigods, great sages, and other associates. These were all engaged in his service. Garuda, the carrier of the Lord, glorified the Lord with Vedic hymns by flapping his wings. Garuda appeared to be an inhabitant of the planet known as Kinnara Loka. Purport: generally, the Vishnu form is manifested with 4 hands holding 4 objects: a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower. However, here Lord Vishnu is described as possessing 8 arms with 8 kinds of weapons. According to Veera Raghava Acharya, the conch shell and lotus flower are also accepted as weapons. Since the Lord is supreme controller, whatever is in his hand can be considered a weapon. 4 hands hold 4 kinds of weapons, and the extra 4 hands hold an arrow, bow, trident, and snake. Sri Veeraraghava describes the 8 weapons as Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, Saranga, Sara, etc. A king is always accompanied by his ministers, secretaries, and commanders. And Lord Vishnu is also accompanied by his followers, the demigods, great sages, saintly persons, and so on. He is never alone. Consequently, there is no question of the Lord's being impersonal. He is always himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his associates are also persons. From the description given in this verse, Garuda appears to belong to the Kinnara planet. The inhabitants of the Kinnara planet have the same features as Garuda. Their bodily features are like those of a human being, but they have wings. The word Gita Kirti indicates that the inhabitants of Kinnar Loka are very expert in singing the glories of the Lord. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said, Jagadanda Koti Kotishva Ashesha Vasudhadi Vibhuti Bhinnam. In each and every universe, there are different types of planets, and each planet have distinctive features. On the strength of this verse, we can understand that in Kinnara Loka, the inhabitants can fly with their wings. There is also a planet known as Siddha Loka, where the inhabitants can fly even without wings. Thus, each and every planet has some distinctive facility. That is the beauty of the varied creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananchana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parishana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurasve Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Chagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vachakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Tanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauravitunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangunangayate girim etkripaha tamaham vande Shri Guru Vandenatarinam. Hare Krishna. So I seek the blessings of His Grace Anandmai Prabhu and all the Son Vaishnavas so that I can speak on this verse to glorify the Lord for the purification of my heart. So in this particular section, Vidura is asking Maitreya Muni what benefits the Prachetas got after they followed the instructions of Lord Shiva, singing the Rudra Gita. And here the description is given that how the Lord appeared before them in the most pleasant form, pleased by the Prachetas' devotional service. So, as His Grace Priya Gopesh Prabhu was mentioning, that the Lord actually mentions why He appeared before them because of their friendly relationships, Saurdaina, very friendly relationships amongst them. Although they were so much in number, 10,000 in number, but still uh, they had such friendly relationships and they were not, what do you call, fighting and cooperating with each other. So initially I'll just speak on little bit on that because that is a very important aspect, as Prabhupada also mentions that if you want to please me, please cooperate. So we see that generally the human tendency is that uh, we have a strong tendency to uh, punish or enjoy somebody's suffering sometimes, and also see that I am right, others are wrong. So in Chaturmas in Ramayana, we see this pastime where Sugriva, before Chaturmas is going on, he gives a word to Lord Ram, that I will surely help you in finding out Sita. So after that, so during Chaturmas, he becomes fully absorbed in sense gratification. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadramai Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai. He becomes fully absorbed in sense gratification. So he actually forgets that that he needs to help the Lord, serve the Lord. So that time Lakshman, he tells Lord Ram that I'll go and punish this Sugriva. So he is not fulfilling his vow. So Lord says, no, no, no. You just go and you just twang the bow, and no, he may realize his mistake and come. So we see that how Lord is so forgiving. Even in the pastime of Govardhan Leela, we see that although Indra, in one sense, actually no demon actually tried to kill all the Vrajavasis together. Maybe while attacking Krishna, sometimes they attack. But here in the sense here, if you see Indra actually sending such heavy rains, Samvardhaka clouds, so everybody was suffering. Everybody would have died also. But still Lord forgave. Because he is a devotee of the Lord. Lord forgave. So still Lord did not punish. So in similar way we see in the pastime of Prithu and Indra. So although Indra was again stealing the horse, so Prithu had every reason to actually kill him for that. So, but on the order of his superiors, he stops. And actually, Lord appears there because of that Prithu's forgiveness. And but interestingly, along with the Lord, Indra also comes there. And Lord is instructing Prithu Maharaj only. He is not instructing Indra. So the mistake is actually of Indra, but the instruction is given to Prithu. So I heard that because Prithu is in a position to actually accept that instructions, whereas Indra is not in that mood. So, but Prithu Maharaj, he forgives Indra, and he embraces him. So he stops all those sacrifices at 99 only, not completing 100 sacrifices. So what is the so somebody like His Grace Radhesham was telling that, okay, now Indra, he is only known as Shatakritu, the one who performed 100 Ashwamedha yagnas and all. So, and Prithu stopped it. So, then what is the benefit that actually Prithu got? It may appear that no, there is no punishment to Indra, and punishment is given only for Prithu Maharaj to stop. No, he was told to stop. So it may appear that okay, Indra only is successful. So His Grace Radhesham was telling that actually the end result should be seen. So the end result is that ultimately Indra had to continue staying in this material world, whereas Prithu, he could go back home, back to Godhead. So because he pleased the Supreme Lord, because he pleased his superiors, so the end result is that he got the ultimate destination. So this is the result of cooperation. So in the 8th canto also we see Lord says that now for the demigods, he says that during this Samudra Manthan Leela, actually you need to cooperate with the demons. Obviously demons have very demonic tendencies, and and he says that so many things will come which are alluring, so you should not run after them, hanker after all these materialistic things, material things. So still the demigods, they were ready to cooperate with demons. So His Grace Radheshampra was once telling that see how the demigods are ready to even cooperate with demons. Why are we not ready to cooperate with devotees? Right? Uh, Demigods, they are submissive. We sometimes think that why Indra is forgiven, or the point is they are, although they may have material desires, still they are submissive to the orders of the Supreme Lord. And they are willing to serve along with even the demons, knowing that obviously they may do some mischievous activities, right? So that's why in the Samudran Manthan Leela, we see that whenever there was any trouble, immediately the Lord appeared in various ways and forms, and he protected them from beginning to end. Right? When the Mandara mountain was falling, he appeared and lifted, and so many uh, appearances Lord made, and he protected the demigods. Right? So when we make that sacrifice of cooperation, then Lord also will be pleased and he will protect us. So, His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj mentions in one lecture that when he was serving as temple president in Juhu, so there was one devotee who actually came there from US for serving. So that devotee actually had a complete different nature. Uh, so um, so actually there were lot of difference of opinions and like that. So it was becoming difficult to actually cooperate with the devotee. So at one point of time, actually that devotee wanted some funds for gardening and all, but Giraj Maharaj wanted to use it for some other urgent services. So that devotee actually becomes very angry and spits on his face. So, but Maharaj just no removes and he just continues his service. So, uh, so it goes on like that, and Maharaj once he reads in one Back to God magazine that this devotee actually in the past he was making Rath, Jagannath Raths. And Prabhupada actually mentions that he's like Vishwakarma for Iskcon because he makes nice Raths. So when he actually saw Prabhupada glorifying that particular devotee for making such nice Raths, so he thought that, oh, my spiritual master actually is pleased by this devotee. So why I should not be pleased, or why I should be upset? So I should also be happy serving with this devotee. So he said that from that moment, my whole attitude and conception changed towards that devotee, because I started seeing that devotee in relation with my spiritual master. That my spiritual master is pleased. So why I should not be pleased? Hmm? So, so in Iskcon also, it's not that everybody's natures will be same and everybody's opinions will be same. So there may be difference in natures, opinions, but if we sincerely try to serve together to please Srila Prabhupada, to please our superiors, then Krishna will be surely pleased. Hmm? So uh, the mission should not be stopped. The wheel should be going on. Hmm? So, because sometimes unnecessarily, because of false ego or unnecessary quarrels, so it may happen that the mission is actually stopped. So that should not happen. So, seeing this wonderful cooperation here amongst the prachetas, that's why the Lord appeared. So, if there is no cooperation, then we need operation. Means we need operation means we need to change the attitude and the conceptions, so that devotees learn to cooperate. uh, because that is a disease. Not cooperating is a disease, right? So when there is a disease, we need to operate to remove that disease. uh. So when false ego and material desires, all this come in between, which stop from cooperating. So these are deadly disease. So that's why operation is required. Then cooperation will happen. So here, uh, so in similar way, we see that Lord appears, uh, just like here he appeared pleased by the attitude of Prachetas. So in similar way, Lord, like Priyagopesh Pro was telling about Vasudeva and Devaki, because of their sacrifice, for the pleasure of Lord, Lord was appearing. So we see similarly when Prahlad Maharaj, even in that utmost tough, difficult situations, tested in all ways, still he maintained his faith in Lord. He never forgot Lord. He was always seeing the Lord. And also, he had faith that Lord is everywhere. When asked by his father, is the Lord here? He said, yeah, Lord is there everywhere. Is he in the pillar? Yeah, he's there in the pillar also. So because of that absolute faith of Prahlad, so Lord appeared in the pillar. Hmm. And when devotees helplessly uh, take shelter of the Lord and request the Lord to appear also, Lord will appear. Whenever there are some demons attacking, or the devotees take shelter, so the Lord appears. He can appear from anywhere, in any situation, at any time. We see like Lord Varaha, he appears from the nostril of Brahmaji. Right? So Lord doesn't need, like Prabhupada says, a male and female to appear, to take birth. He can appear at any time, in any place, in any situation, and take any form. Right? So it's not that only he has to appear like human being or like that. He can take any form, anytime. So we see Varaha appears very tiny form, and then he becomes so huge, covering the three worlds. Right? And like Vamana, he appears very small, dwarf Brahmana. But then, when required, he becomes Trivikram, the tallest. He becomes the smallest, and then when required, he became the tallest also, covering the three worlds. Right? So, uh, so when we have that proper devotional attitude and pleasing the Lord and devotees, then Lord can appear at any time, in any place. So in Kali Yuga, as we hear from Narada Muni, Yatra Gayanti Mad Bhakta Tatta Tishtami Narada. So whenever the devotees come together and sincerely chant and hear the glories of the Lord, there the Lord appears. So in Iskcon also, we see that because Srila Prabhupada sacrificed so much for establishing this movement, gave up all physical comforts, underwent so many heart attacks and so many problems while establishing this movement. So Prabhupada says that Krishna appeared in this moment as Iskcon. And also Krishna manifested in so many ways, in the sense Prabhupada says that I carried Krishna in the form of holy name and Srimad Bhagavatam. And also because of Prabhupada's purity, Prabhupada invited Krishna, and Krishna appeared in so many, in the form of deities, in so many temples. Prabhupada installed Krishna in various forms, in various temples all over the world. Right? So the Lord can appear when a sincere devotee pleases the Lord, anywhere. So here the beauty of the Lord is being mentioned in the first para, how the Lord is so beautiful. So meditating on the beautiful form of the Lord is very important for devotees. because that's how we get purified. That's how we become attached. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd canto, 28th chapter, Kapila's instructions on devotional service, there are a series of verses describing the form of the Lord and how we should meditate. Very nice section. So 3.28.13, Prasanna Vadanambojam Padma Garbharurekshanam Nilotpala Dalashamam Shankachakra Gadadharam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has a cheerful lotus like countenance with ruddy eyes like the interior of a lotus and a swarthy body like the petals of the blue lotus. He bears a conch, discus, and mace in 3 of his hands. So, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that one cannot concentrate the mind on some void or impersonal feature. Like if you want to meditate on Lord, yeah, we can try to meditate on some void or some light, but what you will become attached to? Some effulgence, right? So you can't serve some light, right? We have to serve a form. We have to become attached to some form, right? So Lord kindly appears in a Sachidananda form so that we can meditate. So actually we can bathe the Lord, we can make garlands for the Lord, we can cook for the Lord, we can offer bhoga for the Lord, and in so many ways we can constantly meditate and serve the Lord because Lord is appearing in this beautiful form, in the form of deities. We can see that we can't imagine a temple without deities, right? The whole purpose of temple is to serve and please the Lord, right? So Prabhupada is saying that we can't meditate on some void or impersonal. We have to become attached to the personal feature of the Lord. So, and Prabhupada is mentioning that the Lord's description is not some imagination of some artist, that no, he is bluish or he is wearing peacock feather. These are not some imaginations. They are all given in authoritative scriptures and also spoken by his devotees. Like Venum Kanantam Aravinda Dalayataaksham Barhavatam Asitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpa Kotikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So it's mentioned that how Lord is holding a flute, he is bluish in color, he has lotus like eyes. So all this description is given in the scriptures. Like Kunti also says, Namo Pankaja Nabhaya, Namo Pankaja Maline, Namo Pankaja Netraya, Namaste Pankajangre. So the lotus, the Lord has lotus like eyes. In so many verses, scriptures, it is mentioned. So Prabhupada is mentioning this is not some poetical imagination. The many Puranas, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, all this is described. So, but unfortunately, if you don't have faith in Lord's form, and we put faith, unfortunately, we put faith in the material forms, although it is temporary and illusory. We think that by meditating on that form, I will become happy. That's what. The whole material world is about attraction to opposite sex. This is the crux of material life. So, although but this material body is temporary and illusory. So, just like any flower eventually gets fade away. The so-called beauty also gets faded away. And it's illusory beauty. Because the body is just made of bones, pus and blood, flesh, all these abominable substances. So there is nothing attractive in the material body except the skin. And what is real attraction in the body is not the body actually. It's the presence of soul which makes the body attractive. Uh, so just like if you have uh, Miss World or Miss Universe, and if they die, so no longer the body is attractive. They want to burn it off, right? So because there is no soul, the body starts rotting, uh, right? Finishing off. So uh, because of the presence of soul, the body actually appears attractive. So the attraction is only because of soul, hmm, right? And why the soul is attractive? Because it is part and parcel of Krishna, right? So actually our attraction should be for Krishna, right? But we are attracted to the temporary illusory forms of this world. That's the problem. So and we should understand that Krishna's beauty is eternal. Nava Yovanam Cha is always young and beautiful. He never becomes old, right? So and his body is Sachidananda, right? Eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss, not like our bodies. So understanding this and having faith in that, we should focus on meditating on the Lord's form. That's going to purify us. But if you meditate on material forms, it will putrefy us. So you want to get purified or putrefied, choice is yours. Huh? So the next text, 14, is mentioning Lasat Pankaja Kinjalka Pita Kausheya Vasasam Sri Vassa Vakshasham Brajat Kaustu Kaustubha Mukta Kandaram. It's mentioning his lions are covered by a shining cloth, yellowish like the filaments of a lotus. On his breast he bears the mark of Srivatsa, a curl of white hair. The brilliant Kaustuva gem is suspended from his neck. Next verse mentions, read the translation. He also wears around his neck a garland of attractive sliven flowers and a swarm of bees, intoxicated by its delicious fragrance, hums and garland. He is further superbly adorned with a pearl necklace, a crown, and pairs of armlets, bracelets, and anklets. Uh, so Prabhupada mentions in this that since the jewels and pearls are spiritual, we cannot even materially calculate the value. And these flowers on the Lord's body, which are there, they are not ordinary flowers. They are fresh forever. Hmm. Then, yeah, in the next verse it is mentioned that his lions and hips encircled by a girdle, he stands on the lotus of his devotee's heart, is most charming to look at, and his serene aspect gladdens the eyes and souls of the devotees who behold him. Darshaniya tamam, means the Lord is so beautiful, the devotee does not wish to see anything else. His desire to see beautiful objects is completely satisfied by the sight of the Lord. Hmm. So the material beauty, Prabhupada is saying, never satisfies us because it is temporary and illusory. But by seeing the form of the Lord, uh, so Prabhupada is saying, we can get easily satisfied. Okay. And then in the next verse is mentioned, the Lord is eternally very beautiful. He is worshipable by all the inhabitants of every planet. Like in this verse also, it's mentioned how various people in various planets are glorifying him. And he is ever youthful, always eager to bestow his blessings upon his devotees. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayavanam Cha. Prabhupada is mentioning that he never becomes old, he is ever fresh as a blooming youth, and he is ever existing. And Lord is so kind, he is always eager to give favor to his devotees. So like this, the description of the Lord is given. Lot of descriptions are given. So after some verses, there is further description on how we should actually meditate on each limb of the Lord. Very nice description. So it starts from text 21. Sanchintayed bhagavatas charanara vindam vajrankushadvaja sarorhvalanchanadhyam uttunga rakta vilasan nakachakravala josna bir ahata mahad dradayandakaram. So here the meditation on Lord's lotus feet is mentioned. So from these verses, the from here on, it's mentioned how we can start meditating on each limb of the Lord and how it can benefit us. So this is a very nice description, because when we actually also take darshan of the Lord, uh, we can actually think in this way, meditate on all these different aspects mentioned in this verse. Because sometimes we just take darshan and actually nothing goes in our heart, right? So here it's mentioned the devotee should first concentrate his mind on the Lord's lotus feet, which are adorned with the marks of a thunderbolt, a gourd, a banner, and a lotus. The splendor of their beautiful ruby nails resembles the orbit of the moon and displays the thick gloom of one's heart. So it's mentioned that how the Lord's lotus feet has various symbols, marks, like thunderbolt. It's mentioned that, and by meditating on the thunderbolt, just like thunderbolt can make into pieces even mountains, into powder, same way the mountains of sins can be eradicated by meditating on the Lord's lotus feet. So Lord's lotus feet has this gourd, which is used to control even elephant. uh. So same way our mind is compared to an elephant, which is very difficult to control. So just like a expert person who controls the elephant, so by meditating on Lord's lotus feet, our mind also can get control. So like that, there are different marks on the Lord's lotus feet. Like there is this triangle, which represents that three modes. That by taking shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, you can overcome the three modes of material nature. Then there is one rope. Uh, just like if you fall in a well, the only hope is a rope somebody throws and can catch and come out. So Lord's lotus feet is like that rope which can actually uplift us from this dark well of material existence. Then there is a nectar pot. So Lord's lotus feet is like real nectar. By tasting that nectar, one can actually forget all the uh, false nectars or illusions of this material existence. So like that, there are many wonderful descriptions given in the scriptures, the various marks on the Lord's lotus feet, and how, like when we actually take darshan, we can actually think of all this and pray to the Lord. Uh, so the description starts from the lotus feet, because Prabhupada says actually in a humble attitude we should start taking darshan. So we should start taking darshan from the Lord's lotus feet. Then the meditation, next verse talks about meditation on the feet. Um, so the next verse says, the blessed Lord Shiva becomes all the more blessed by bearing on his head the holy waters of the Ganges, which has its source in the water that washed the Lord's lotus feet. Because Ganges is coming from Lord's lotus feet. Lord's feet act like thunderbolts hurled to shatter the mountain of sin stored in the mind of meditating devotee. One should therefore meditate on Lord's lotus feet of the Lord for a long time. So the next verse tells that the yogi should fix in his heart the activities of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, who is worshipped by all demigods, and he is the mother of Supreme Person Brahma. She can always be found massaging the legs and thighs of the transcendental Lord, very carefully serving him in this way. So we see that how Mother Lakshmi worships or serves the Lord by massaging the legs and thighs. So that is a meditation. So there is so many other means. We can also meditate on how, when it comes to the Lord's feet, that how Lord actually killed Shakatasur by kicking with his feet, or Lord kept his lotus feet on Bali Maharaj, and Bali Maharaj completely surrendered. So like that, different pastimes also one can remember when we meditate on different limbs of the Lord. The next verse tells that the yogi should fix his mind in meditation on personality of Lord God. Its thighs, the storehouse of all energy. The Lord's thighs are whitish blue, like the luster of the linseed flower, and appear most graceful when the Lord is carried on the shoulders of Garuda. Also, the yogi should contemplate his rounded hips, which are encircled by a girdle that rests on the exquisite yellow silk cloth that extends down to his ankles. Then the next verse talks about meditating on the navel of the Lord, which is in the abdomen, from where the lotus comes and where Brahmaji appears. So, like that, the wonderful description is given of the various limbs of the Lord, arms and chest, uh, meditating on Lord's vessel, this various uh, weapons also, the club and all, that also is mentioned here. So many verses, this description is given how we can meditate on various limbs of the Lord and get benefited. So devotees can read that particular section and get benefited. So here Prabhupada is also mentioning, we'll just end with this, that how uh, there are different weapons of the Lord, and Lord appeared with this 8 kinds of weapons before the Prachetas. So we see that Lord actually uses these weapons to kill the demons. With his Sudarshan Chakra, he killed so many demons. Shishupal, then Narakasur. He also sent Sudarshan Chakra after this Durvasa Muni who tried to offend Ambarish, right? So these weapons always, these are not just weapons, they are personalities actually. And we see that actually devotees even worship these weapons for their protection and for blessings of the Lord. So another aspect which is mentioned here is that how various living entities in this universe are glorifying the Lord. So Prabhupada is mentioning glorifying the beauty of Lord's creation. So this is the Achinta Shakti of the Lord, the inconceivable potency of the Lord. So some people may think that, Array, where are these Kinnaras or Vidyadharas or all this? Huh? We are not able to see, right? So yeah, we are not qualified to see. So in the past, we see mentioned that when Yudhishthir Maharaj used to perform sacrifices, even demigods would appear. So in Kali Yuga, we are not qualified, so that's why we are not able to see. They consider this Kali Yuga is so contaminated, so that's why they don't want to come here. But these personalities are there. So actually, we can see that Lord's creation is so wonderful. Prabhupada says we cannot create even a small ant. What to speak of, anything else? Scientists cannot create even a small ant. So, Aham Bija Prajapita. He is the seed giving father for all the various living entities. So, Prabhupada says that Krishna's creation is so wonderful. Like he creates mosquitoes, flies, birds which can fly. He can create male and female and multiply so many, right? So they can fly at any place, from any place, and land at any place. No accidents. So man may try to imitate Lord's creation, but there are so many accidents and crashes and so many problems, right? So, but Lord's creation is so amazing. So in any species you see, so it's very amazing that how no that particular living entity grows and how it is being maintained and everything. So just like in this on this earth planet, we see uh, so many varieties of living entities, right? They are also created by Lord, right? So can't Lord create living entities in other planet? So Prabhupada says that on sun planet there is Vivashwan. It's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Vivashwan, that this knowledge was first taught to Vivashwan. So he's saying already there is Vivashwan, sun god, and he says that in the fire, scientists also found that there is some bacteria. Then immediately Prabhupada says, this means that hence proved that even on sun there are uh, living entities. Because in fire there are living entities, so can't in sun there will be living entities. So Lord can create such bodies. We may think that, how can they live in that fiery situation? No, for that Lord will create accordingly those kind of bodies, right? We have a particular combination of gross material substances, this different combinations. Accordingly, there in the sun planet, the fire element will be more. For us, the earth element, water element is little more. For them, the fiery element will be more. So, Lord, can't He create? So, we should have that faith that in this world also we are not able to create, and Lord is able to create so many varieties of living entities. So, can't Lord create in other planets? Yeah, right. So, only because you are not able to see, that doesn't mean that they are not there, right? So, we should have that faith. And here, as it is mentioned that no, these various living entities, they are glorifying the Lord. Okay. And when Lord appears along with him, all his associates also appear. So Krishna also, when he appears in this world, he doesn't come alone. He comes with his associates so that he can have that loving reciprocation with his devotees. So we'll end here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, for a wonderful explanation of beauty of the Lord. I have a question, Prabhuji. We see in our community that many devotees hanker to take dust from the feet of Maharaja's great devotees. So, what does this mean? Actually, what is the benefit of taking dust from the feet of great devotees? And what should be the spirit behind taking that? Sometimes we don't know spirit behind doing something.
Yeah.
We just take and keep on head, but we don't know what we have to do.
Yeah. So, but we did discuss about dust of pure devotees, means at least I don't remember, but okay, anyway. So, as Prahlad Maharaj says that Pada Rajabhishekam, unless you bathe yourself in the dust of the pure devotees, you cannot get delivered, you cannot get mercy of the Lord. So basically, taking the dust means actually humbling ourselves, and taking the dust of pure devotees also means to actually willing to submit ourselves and follow their instructions. It's not that we take their dust and then later we don't follow the instructions. So basically, we are humbling ourselves, and we want to receive their mercy. So devotees, as it is, as here also we discussed, that devotees want to start meditating from the lotus feet of the Lord, or even below the feet, in the sense all those symbols. So they want to take the most humblest position. So the most humblest position is in any person is dust below the feet, right? So they want to become like that, servant of the servant of the Lord. Take the most humble position. So when we say that we want to take the most humble position, they no. So, but that doesn't mean that just we take dust and then later suppose the authorities say that, can you do this service? Sorry, I am busy or I can't do that. So that has no meaning. So we want to take the most humble position. Yeah, everybody is eager to take the dust. That is good. That is glorified. Even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this Teen Mahabal, the Bhakta Pada Duli, Bhakta Pada Jal, and Bhakta Avashesha, yeah, Mahaprasad, Mahaprasad. So these are called as most powerful mercy of the Lord. So definitely they have that potency, but the purpose should not be forgotten. In the sense, we want to serve them, we want to take the most humble position. So, um, but if suppose we take like that pastime is also there, na? Ramanucharya, no, he releases some Mahaprasad in that kund, and immediately all these fishes, they get Chaturbhuja Roop and they go to Vaikunta. And some of the disciples say that, but every day we are also taking the Mahaprasad, but we are here only. There is no Chaturbhuj Roop so appearing. So then Ramanacharya says that, yeah, these fishes were very simple. They are not offensive, but you are judging, and you are offensive towards the Mahaprasad. So you are not simple hearted. So that's why you did not get the full benefit. So obviously the benefit is there because these are special mercy. So that's why devotees hanker. But at the same time, we should also remember the purpose behind it. Uh, the purpose is to actually serve these great souls and follow their instructions. It's not just taking dust and no, now over, finish. No, I got full mercy. No, so taking the dust of the pure devotees means actually to follow their instructions, and even in their absence, willing to follow those instructions. So somebody may not get that dust physically, but if they are sincerely following the instructions, actually that means they have got that dust. It's not that, okay, somebody got this dust, then only they got mercy. There are so many devotees, even Prabhupada disciples, those who never even met him because of that particular situation. They were initiated by post or something like that. But we can see that, like His Holiness Niranjan Swami Maharaj, but definitely we can understand that they have received the dust of Prabhupada. Like His Grace Anand Mai Prabhu also. I don't know whether he physically got the dust, but obviously Prabhuji got the dust. They are all situated at his Prabhupada's lotus feet. They are always meditating on his lotus feet, uh, following the instructions of their spiritual master. So the essence should not be forgotten. So if it is possible and if we can get, that's okay. But we should not, like somebody was telling that everybody jumps and pulls the leg and not is falling. Let us not take away the dust. So the purpose is, purpose should be remembered. Okay. So we also see that Narada Muni in his past life, that boy, he got the remnants of that Bhakti Vedantas, and he got the mercy of them, and that way. But at the same time, we see that the qualities of him are also mentioned. Dante, Akridanike, all those Albava. No? It's not that just because he got remnants, but he also had those qualities, and even after their absence, when Chaturmas was over, after they left, in the testing times also, he remembered those instructions and he followed. So that's the most important thing. So that's why he actually got benefited and became perfected. So that is the real meaning of actually taking dust to become the servant of servant. Grace Anand may prove and would like to add something. Yeah, yeah. That is obviously mercy of the devotees. Yeah, yeah. That is surely the dust of, that is sure. That is correct. Obviously, that is mercy of, yeah, yeah, that is mercy of devotees. That is true. But what I am saying is that the purpose should not be forgotten. That we should uh, serve their instructions like that. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji,
Sure.
I have one more
You can
question.
ask personally, I think. Time is over. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.